Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. The great e-girl crash out of 2025 is upon us. We've talked about and exposed these grifters before. Most of these women are clout-chasing narcissists who engage in constant attention-seeking behavior online. Many of them LARP as like traditional Catholics while living a lifestyle that is completely the opposite of that. Like, yes, they're hypocritical. And so one of them, the latest right-wing e-girl, I swear they're like produced in a lab somewhere, and every few months they trot them out, they astroturf them into prominence, they platform them on all the big conservative media outlets, and it's like they rely on these women to draw attention to their own programs, right? But these people are all toxic. They're all nasty, self-absorbed people, and none of them really believe the things that they're saying. There can be exceptions, right? But we've exposed many of them, my goodness, for the outright grifting, and a lot of times they actually hate their own audience, like the people that they are pandering to. So Sarah Stock, the latest right-wing e-girl to be astroturfed into prominence, posted a very simple tweet. She posted a picture of her hand with her engagement ring and simply said, "I won." Now, you would not think that this would be controversial. Most people, like normal people, would be happy for her, would congratulate her because that is a good thing. And yet, all of the e-girls come out of the woodwork. They're all seething. They're snaking each other. Here we've got Pearl, who obviously hates women due to a lot of resentment and envy. She comes out, "Hottest right-wing e-girl taken off the market. Conservative women will always use their marriage and family to build their brand." Okay, but don't a lot of conservative men do that as well? Like, their whole thing is promoting Christian lifestyle, traditional marriage, having families, having children. A lot of them kind of, they do the same thing because they're trying to be role models um, for people. And here we've got Emily Saves America, the ring size with the skull emoji. It's just insane. Pearl says, "I don't think the size matters, but I just wonder why men can't do nice things for us without it being public anymore." It's just insane. And here, Dries posts a quote that the same girl had posted: "Women just hate other women, and it boils down to jealousy. That's simple." And here she is, hating on this girl for getting engaged, mocking the size of the ring as if any of that matters. They're all despicable. They're all vapid. They're all nasty, miserable human beings. Bunch of ostensibly right-wing ladies around here need to be told to calm down. So this did get very funny. I will say that. The comments that were going back and forth, because they all just started attacking each other and, at the same time revealing who they really are. Pearl says to Morgan Ariel, "Morgan, you are a single mother with a public video admitting you have HPV. You may want to sit this one out too." Morgan replies to her, "You suck black dick and probably have AIDS." And Pearl responds, "What's interesting is when right-wing e-girls get angry, they make stuff up about me. No, I don't have AIDS, Morgan, but thank you for your concern, Christian woman." And Pearl, she drags Christian women a lot. I'm not sure what that's about. What about it causes her to seethe? But I think that what she's trying to say is that, the Christian women are hypocritical. Let's not forget that when Pearl looked like this, she was making videos where she was calling other people land whales. So if we're going to talk about hypocrisy, hello. Morgan responds to Emily and says, "You give it up for free, ho. You might want to sit this one out." Emily responds to her and says, "Morgan, your baby daddy abandoned you. You're raising a bastard child. But yet somehow, some way, you think you're better than me or anyone on this app. You gave it up for free, got left in the dust, and now post rage bait on X to supplement the inadequacy of your monthly child support payments." Just completely nasty, vapid comments from miserable women. Morgan responds to her, "None of that is true, Emily, but unlike you, I don't lie. So here are some facts. You got fingered in the middle of a hotel lobby at a TPUSA event while everybody watched and there were families around." I have to say, I have heard really disturbing things about what goes on at these TPUSA events. She says, "You brag about sleeping with married magadads and doing drugs. You've been completely ran through by both single and married men in the right wing. You call young virgins losers and encourage them to have premarital sex and you're pro-abortion." So they're just like, they're all snaking each other. They're all revealing their nastiness. This has to be the girl version of a flying knee victory in the octagon. This was Pearl, making her comment about conservative women will use their marriage and family to build their brand. Sarah replied to her, "Once you stop getting ran through by black guys, it could happen to you too." My goodness, the insanity of it all. Seeing Sarah Stock get dragged by other right-wing e-girls is hilarious and typical female behavior. Instead of just congratulating her on getting married like a normal person. Oh no, they're bitter and spiteful. And she says they just keep gold digging themselves into a deeper hole. Emily posts this comment: "It's going to be hard to be a trad wife when your man can't even afford a ring. How do you guys expect to have a house, land, multiple kids? I hope y'all enjoy working. Sorry, I'm MIA in the Hamptons." Like, honestly, what a disgusting thing to say. Yeah, sorry, most people have to work for a living. They don't get to just, jiggle their tatas on camera for boomer conservatives. And she posts this picture here. "Conservative men need to stop being broke and gaslighting women like we don't deserve diamonds and rings. So you want me to give up my job, my career, my financial independence, push multiple babies out of my body, cook, clean, be loyal and a loving feminine wife forever, and y'all can't even afford a nice ring for us? GTFO, just admit y'all literally don't like women." What a horrible and atrocious thing to say. I think that reveals how ugly she is on the inside. And I think when you're ugly like this on the inside, that does translate to the outside as well. To talk down to any man and say something like that, to tell them to stop being brokies. And no, no man has asked you to marry him. So she's saying, you want me to. No, they don't want you to, because none of these men, no good man wants you. You allow men to use you and discard you, and then you call yourself empowered. These women are feminists, all of them. Gifts says, "I think the weird pile-on by a bunch of women hating on Sarah Stock's engagement photo and ring is just jealous, petty nonsense. Ding ding, of course. My first thought seeing it was it's cute and I'm happy for her. Yeah, she can come off as a grifter sometimes and says contradictory things, but I truly hope her and her future husband have a ton of cute babies. I'm viewing it as something to be cheerful about, not to get upset over." Why would anybody get upset over it? It doesn't make sense. Unless, of course, you're bitter and envious. Sarah writes, "It's not just the ring, but I've been surprised at how weird and materialistic people get about wedding stuff. I'm just excited to get married, and there's this insane pressure to turn everything into a show for other people." Well, yeah, that whole wedding industry is a scam. The diamond industry is additionally a scam that benefits certain people. And this is correct. None of that stuff matters. What should matter is the actual relationship itself, the commitment you're making before God and your family and your happiness. Why go into thousands of dollars in debt to have this big display, this narcissistic display? I think it's weird, and I'm not a fan of that either. Chicken Waffin says Sarah Stock broke right-wing e-girl omerta by actually getting married instead of pretending to be single and chaste for years on end for her simp audience like the others. And it triggered an all-out hoe war, and I've got to say, they all made some good points. Yeah, I think that it's true. You know, all of these e-girls though, they all have armies of simps, and that needs to stop because none of them would have the prominence they have if they didn't have this army of white knights, coming in and saying, "How dare you question milady?" It's absolutely ridiculous, and that is pathetic behavior. Sarah made a post, "I've never claimed to be trad, I've just claimed to be a Christian. I can dye my hair, get my nails done, listen to modern music, wear modern clothing, use social media, all while living out my Christian faith. I am Catholic, not Amish." And Cloud's Groiper responds and says, "E-girl comes out as against trad, quote unquote, even though she built her whole brand on it right after getting engaged. Tale as old as time." And that's kind of funny because Sarah Stock often is appealing to the Groipers and promoting their content, and that's kind of the response that she gets. Rachel Wilson made a very good post here. She says, "I don't understand this narrative of telling women to log off because they are married or have kids. You guys realize absolutely no one is logging off, right? We live in the digital age. Like it or not, our lives are tied to the online space. That's going to include wives and mothers unless you don't use the internet at all. Social media is the public square, and a lot of us have family and friends spread across the country, even across the world. It's how we share news, how we communicate with people. It's how we find information, products, ideas, resources. It doesn't have to be a bad thing in and of itself. It is the misuse of this which causes people problems. Of course, social media can be toxic and problematic, especially for young women. The best you can do is try to incentivize good content that encourages good behavior in women and stigmatize bad content which encourages bad behavior. Elevate the homeschool moms who are showing you their garden and how they plan their menu for the week. Share content from Christian wives who help other young women with their lives. Share content from ladies helping each other with tips on dealing with postpartum challenges, pregnancies, and menopause. There's nothing wrong with this kind of content or making money from it. What we should not be encouraging women to do is get naked and sell sex. We shouldn't be encouraging feminist, girl boss, anti-male propaganda. We should not be glamorizing women who are promiscuous or cheat on their husbands. We shouldn't be elevating women who pretend to be political experts but are clearly only online to infiltrate men's spaces, to find desperate simps to pay their bills. This all seems really obvious to me. I don't know why there's a debate about it. I think that that's true. I see a lot of these comments that, it's not all men, but it's some of these men that they think any woman online is an e-girl. I have been called an e-girl despite not engaging in any e-girl behaviors. I'm just a mom in my basement making videos. But sometimes that in and of itself causes men to seethe. I don't know what that's about. It's kind of silly. Now that Sarah is getting married, this is a perfect example of it. Now that Sarah is getting married, she needs to delete all her social medias and remove herself entirely from the internet. She needs to be for her husband and her husband alone. If she continues to be an e-girl, it will disrupt her husband's authority and make her disloyal. No, I don't agree with this. I think women can put out content online while being married and not automatically become cheaters or engage in the kind of e-girl behavior that a lot of these girls engage in. No, this is silly. The state of e-girls right now, pretty much. They're all just telling on themselves. Good job, Sarah Stock. You have ignited an all-out e-girl brawl by getting engaged. Indeed. And responding to Emily's comment about, oh, it's going to be hard to be a trad wife when your man can't afford a ring, Andrew Wilson says traditional doesn't mean any of this. It is a values based form of living, not a material form of living. It focuses on virtues, not lifestyle. I don't know what's so hard for these women to understand about that. It's insane. There is some criticism of Sarah Stock. This comes from a gentleman named Birkin Order. The playbook of an astroturfed grifter like Sarah Stock is simple. Her quote unquote core values are entirely contingent on political expediency and whoever is signing the checks. They're malleable, quick to shift under social pressure, and ultimately meaningless. It's not even ideological. Ideology is an afterthought. Political beliefs for her are just tools of influence, not to enact change or serve a greater purpose, but merely to amplify the volume of recorded digital flattery. She was a fanatical militant carebearist when Ezra Levant was bankrolling her. Then she came to the United States as a foreigner and face planted in an attempted image overhaul, trying to rebrand herself as the dissident right's ditzy e-girl. Once that dream predictably imploded, she scrambled to reinvent herself yet again, hastily discarding whatever ideology she previously claimed the moment a quicker route up the social ladder appeared, along with a more efficient way to extract value from conservaslop coomers who are less interested in what she says than in simply gawking at her. Her viewership is a case study, not just in how sexual pathology intersects with ideology, but in how shameless grifters hustle their way into relevance. And look, I think there are fair criticisms of a lot of these e-girls. This is correct. This does describe a lot of them. Lauren Southern, perfect example. But I will say, Sarah Stock is a young girl. You know, young people, their political beliefs change all the time. It's an evolving process. You know, she may have learned since then. So I'm not going to outright say that, you know, she's a total grifter. I don't think that that's fair, but I don't trust any of the e-girls because they're typically always exposed as being hypocrites and as being scummy. Sarah Stock getting engaged has the e-girls on the right upset, lol. There is so much crazy crap going on with these influencers behind the scenes that never gets out. That is a very good point. And, you know, finally, the peak of right-wing e-girl absurdity, these comments that they say to each other back and forth, absolutely true. So I think it's hilarious that they all just decided to come out and attack this woman for getting engaged for no reason. Mocking the size of her engagement ring, I think, was classless and disgusting. You know, but not surprising. These women are narcissists, they're clout chasing, and this is who they really are on the inside. But I'm interested to know what you guys think, and I hope you all have a good day. Whee!